Hello, a happy new year, and welcome to episode 23 of An Earful Podcast.
Our guest this week is the lovely Kaya, the vocalist of the band Blood Youth. We caught them on the Manchester tour date supporting Bury Tomorrow last month. We talk all about the recording process of the new album, films, Corey Taylor, his favourite scary movie, and as always, Pet Peeves.
Don't forget you can check all our social media out at An Earful Podcast. Also, every single episode of the podcast is also available on YouTube. And don't forget, Cutting Teeth and Raiders have a tour this month. Go get your tickets. We're going to be at the Manchester show date. And we've previously spoken to James of Cutting Teeth and Sean Smith of Raiders. 2 episodes to check out to hype yourself up for them. And also, tickets for Burn It Down Festival are still available on the 5th of September. Make sure you get your tickets. We also have a bonus episode about that. Other than that, enjoy the podcast.
Enjoy the episode.
And welcome to Happy Podcast.
Alright, so we are backstage with Kaya from Blood Youth. How's it going, man?
It's good. Literally came off stage like 25, half an hour ago, and you see my brain is still scrambled. It was really good. It was yeah, very good.
What was the vibe like tonight?
Vibe was cool, you know, it's a big old room, and we know that as the first band on, we probably have the hardest job on the bill, but we've done it 1,000 times and we'll do it 1,000 times again. Like, it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get much reaction from the crowd?
Yeah, it always takes a couple songs for everyone to not be shy anymore and really get into it. And when I went to go see bands, and when I was a teenager, I would never mosh for the first band. I'd always be like, nah, you got to win me over first.
Yeah.
So we know that maybe, I don't know, there's a percentage of the crowd that already knows us and is singing along and stuff, but there's a percentage of the crowd that has no idea who we are, and they don't want to move for you and stuff like that. So we have to win them round, and we usually do that by being like as cheeky as possible on stage, as push it as much as we can. But it's people like that, so it's okay.
What's usually the criteria for?
Just stare at people. We do this thing where we discuss it after the show, like, oh, who are you staring at? I was like, oh, there was that guy in the yellow t-shirt who just looked like he wanted to not be there. So we usually pick a few people and we'll just stare, and then we'll just mix it up and go somewhere else. But I think it's cool because a lot of people think that when you're at a show, there's some sort of force field where the band for some reason can't see you. I think a lot of people think that. We can see everything. We can see who's on their phones. We can see who's chatting to their boyfriend. We can see who's into it, obviously. There was a guy on the Portsmouth show who was just, during like an interlude we have where we bring like the mood down, he was almost heckling me, but it wasn't a heckle, he was having fun, but he was kind of asking, he was like, I want a breakdown, give me a breakdown. I just turned around and just looked straight into him, like just stared at him for
into his soul.
And he stops. It's nothing aggressive, but it's just part of the mood. It's part of the.
I think you always tend to find that when you try and bring the mood down, everyone's kind of like, this is our opportunity to speak.
Yeah, because our set used to be song, mosh, boom, 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 like punching you in the face. But we take a lot of inspiration. I'm sure this will lead on to another question, but we take a lot of inspiration from movies, and especially when I'm writing lyrics, I think of my favorite scenes in movies and how they made me feel. Yeah. And I want people to feel like that when we're at the show.
Oh, basically. Sick.
So, like, with the new album, was that the main, like,
100%.
Inspiration behind it? Just, like, horror movies and
horror
that
movies,
kind of vibe?
Thrillers, psychological, like, all my favorite movies are kind of fucked up, I guess, but that's because when I was watching them, they made me feel something. So when it came to writing Starve, when I was writing all the lyrics and stuff, I said, like, I want to feel, when people are listening to this, I want them to feel when I watched X or when I watched Y. Yeah. And there's a huge influence of there's the last scene, one of the final scenes of Goodfellas. he's in the car and he's looking for the helicopter and he's
Yeah.
all pale and yellow and
Yeah.
he's just so like freaked out. That inspired the song "Nerve" on our album.
Yeah,
because whenever I watch that, I get sweaty watching that because he just looks so ill and he's just like looking for the helicopter and I like that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's the same in American Psycho when he's at the bar and he's yelling at the barmaid saying he's going to kill her and she can't even hear him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just like yelling, just letting it all out and no one can hear you. Just lots of different, bits of inspiration just from movies that I love because I'm a huge film nerd, basically.
Cool. Have you seen The Irishman yet?
Yeah, I watched it on this tour.
What do you think?
I thought it was amazing. Like, the cast is untouchable. Joe Pesci's really good in it. I think Robert De Niro is amazing in it.
Yeah, totally.
It's crazy how old they've all got now. Like, obviously, like, from seeing Joe Pesci in, like, Goodfellas and then looking at him now, it's like, what?
It's mad, yeah.
God. And, like, it's the first time that Pacino worked with Scorsese as well, wasn't
Really?
it? Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool. If I had to pick up something from it that I was like, but that's because I watch everything with just too much detail, was sometimes the CGI was for making them look younger. I was a little bit like, that scene looked a bit odd, but can't fault it too much. I love it. I love Martin Scorsese, and Goodfellas is one of my favorite films ever. It was like another Goodfellas. I was talking about it with my dad. I was just like, it's like Goodfellas 2. But it was so true in the movie where he says like these days like nobody knows who Jimmy Hoffa is and stuff like that. And I was like, I kind of knew he's a guy that disappeared and things like that. But
see, I wasn't even familiar to the story.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either.
I heard the name Jimmy Hoffa and I think it's a Simpsons joke where they say, I think Jimmy Hoffa's buried in there. Like it's somewhere in there. Because nobody's ever found him.
No.
And no one's found his body or anything like that. So I found myself going on Wikipedia and reading about it whilst watching the movie. I was like, all right. It's almost like a spoiler, but I kind of like doing it.
I always do that after it. Same with like The Godfather as well. I mean, when I've watched the Godfather films, all three of them in a row, I was like, right, I've got to kind of piece things together now. I've got to read up on it and see who's who. So when I watched it again, it kind of made sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess when you go back to it again, it'll kind of like click.
I love that movie. Maybe a bit too long, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think them having it on Netflix had free roam in it, but apparently there's an extended version of it which is like 5 hours somewhere.
I'll probably watch it. I'll find it and I'll watch it. I love that gangster era mood and just everyone is so. What I love about those movies is everyone's so sensitive. Like they're obviously gangsters, but they're so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like you could, if you like put a foot wrong, they're like, you're disrespecting me. Like they're so you're fucking disrespecting me and stuff like that.
It's the whole thing of where he's like, sorry if anyone's not watched the film, where they kind of like, where Joe Pesci's like, we're going to deal with Hoffa. And then Robert De Niro's character is just so like broken over the fact that he has to deal with it, sort out his friend. Yeah,
that is sick bit when he's kind of deciding who he's going to side with. And I won't do any spoilers, but it's very, very sick.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. I think it's very Scorsese to have like the narration, like Wolf of Wall Street and stuff like that, and then I think going back to like the whole CGI thing, like the only time I kind of thought it was noticeable when you've seen films like Heat, where you've seen Pacino and De Niro in the same scene together and stuff like that.
The age they're supposed to be. Yeah,
and it's kind of like, I already know what you look like then, so that kind of gives away like. Obviously, it's amazing what they've done in terms of like the work and all of that, and then the actual like aging them more at the end of it, where it kind of like
they're even all there's so many, and there's stuff I'm looking at on Instagram that they're picking out from the film, and I'm like, fuck, I need to go watch this again. Like, it didn't even click because there's a scene where they're like kind of young, maybe 40s, and Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro are like eating bread and wine, and it's really fancy, and then they're in prison. And it's like they've got grape juice.
Cold bread and grape juice,
There was that, and there was the bit where at the end of the film, we know where he's left the door open as a little gap. And that's reference to when he's with Jimmy Hoffa sleeping in his apartment. Again, that's what I read after it. It's just little bits like that. But going back to the narration as well, that's kind of like Goodfellas as well, isn't it? Like narrating over it. And another film had the same like vibe to it, which was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Because Avenged took that influence from that, didn't they? And they wrote Backcountry from that film.
That's a sick film. I haven't seen that in such a long time. When I was too young when I watched it, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, what's drugs? I was like, what's going on?
Sick. So like going back to obviously the music. You guys released your new album this year. It is mint.
Thank you.
What was the inspirations whilst recording and writing it?
Well,
as well as the horror, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. It's kind of cool how it all kind of panned out, really, because our first album was called Beyond Repair, and that album, we can admit it now, was an extension of our EPs. We had a sound with the EPs that we knew our fans liked, and we weren't willing really to branch out to anybody else.
Yeah.
We were like, let's play it safe. We knew what we were doing. We were like, so that everyone likes it.
Yeah.
And it was like mission accomplished. Everyone, our fan base does really like that album. But after we released that album, everybody was kind of like predicted what our next album was going to sound like.
Yeah.
They predicted what our future as a band was going to be, which direction we're going to be. And none of us, we all hated that so much. And we were just kind of like, let's completely like flip it on its head. Let's do stuff we've never done before. We got a DJ in called Gilbert, who we're really close with. He did all of the like electronic hip hop parts in it.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go into a studio. We recorded it at Middle Farm Studio, which is in Devon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just in the middle of nowhere, no signal, no internet, nobody. It was just us and our producer, who's literally in the room next door. It was just us and him in this, like, it felt like a cabin just for like nearly a month, 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And all we watched, we didn't have Netflix or anything like that. All we watched was horror films.
Right.
Every single night after we recorded, maybe finish at like midnight, 1 a.m., we'd put on like a couple horror films, and we were all by the end of recording, we were like feral. We all had like facial hair, just pale, and we hadn't spoken or seen anyone apart from ourselves for nearly a month in this like cabin. And we watched the newest Evil Dead and stuff like that.
I was say that's got very Evil Dead vibes.
It was like that, and honestly, it was scary because it was the recording studio, and then there's like a little house next to it where all the beds are where you sleep in.
Yeah.
And the walk from the studio to the after watch, we were all like, fucking hell, like this is well intense, and that's what we wanted, and that's what we were feeling in the studio. Everyone was pissed off at each other. Everyone was angry. Everyone was cabin fever. Everyone was scared from the fucking horror movies. It was a very intense experience, and I'm really glad that it kind of translates through the album, and I think people can really hear it as well.
Yeah. So what was the writing process like going in before? Was it did you have everything prepared, or was it like literally you did it bit by bit in the studio?
Everything was kind of demoed and ready to go when we went into the studio. The writing process was the toughest writing process I've ever experienced, just writing music since I was 12.
Yeah.
Just because I was personally feeling the pressure of album 2, and my body was all over the place, just drinking loads, and I I was so stressed I got a stomach ulcer, and
shit.
It was just really just like intense, and I felt that I didn't have anything to write about, and coincidentally I wrote about not writing about not having something to write about, but like how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I spent so much time just in my room, just writing words down and writing sentences down, and they all just kind of became the lyrics for the album.
Yeah.
But it all very much stemmed from a very real and sort of dark sort of place, and I woke up really, I didn't eat for like 3 to 4 days because of my stomach ulcer. Even just taking a sip of water would hurt so much. It would I would be like tears because it would hurt so much. So I was just taking this horrible medicine. It's like it's like custard, but it's cold and it tastes horrible. It's just trying to rebuild your stomach line.
Yeah.
And it's just, so I'm doing all of that and also trying to write the lyrics for the album.
Wow.
So that's where all of the album lyrics kind of came from, really.
Was it soon after you went recording, after all of that?
Yeah, it was. Wow. We recorded like a month after all of that.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the day after, like we finished recording, and then the next day we started a tour with Stone Sour.
Oh shit.
So when we showed up to the tour, we were like, oh my God, other people, like the civilization.
Is that the one where you played Apollo? I'm trying to think whether I watched the same one. I think
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
It might have been.
Because there was... I think the first show was Rock City.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went on that tour and we were all so tired from the studio, and then all of a sudden you've got like Corey Taylor stood next to you like this, talking to you.
Shit.
And we were just all like, yeah.
What's he like as a person?
I was going to say,
yeah.
Incredible. Just everything you want him to be. Obviously, he's like, we used to have his like, you know, his poster on our wall. You know, when I was going to school, I had Slipknot poster on the wall, and I remember we were like eating catering, and just comes in, and he was just like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And I was just like, "Fuck!" Like, I was like, "Hi." I think my voice cracked a little bit. I was like, "Hi." Like, how's it going? And I think we were in Netherlands one of the dates, and we're just in the dressing room. Just walks into the dressing room. It's like, "Hey guys, how's your day going?" It's just Corey Taylor. Like,
holy shit.
We're just
crazy.
like, Jesus Christ, like. He's awesome. Yeah, really nice guy. And like he would just be like asking us like, "How's what's the new album sound like?" And I'm like, "Shut up."
Did you show him some of the tracks?
No, I didn't speak to him as much as Chris did. I'm way too shy. I couldn't handle it. It was just too much. I was like, saw him. I was like, fuck off. I can't process this right now. But no, I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" But we were about to go on stage, and I could hear his voice, and really distorted, gravelly voice, like outside. Almost a room exactly like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, we're on stage in like 3 minutes." And like walk out the door, and he's just talking to Chris, our guitarist, about how he recorded Iowa and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Chris is just looking at him, just like, "Oh my God." Like, and he's like, yeah, and just talking to him about loads. And then after the show, they just sat around talking.
Wow.
So insane.
I think I'd be the exact same if like I met Jim Root. Like,
okay,
I'm a huge Jim Root fan.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I don't know if I would actually handle that.
That's what I mean. It's very strange. It's the weirdest thing ever. The same was, I feel like such a fucking name dropper, but when we played an arena with Prophets of Rage, we did 2 shows with them, but one of them was this arena, and it's members of Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And when we were sound checking in the arena, like it's a full empty arena, the members of Rage Against the Machine were throwing around an American football like in front of us whilst we're sound checking.
What?
And I've never been so nervous for sound check. I was just there like, "Oh, I can't do this." I was like, "This is insane." Played the show, and Tom Morello was like, "Oh, good set, man. That was really good." I was just like,
wow.
I just went straight into the dressing room. I was like, "Thank you." Just I don't want to name drop anymore, but that was those people that, like, when you look up to them your entire life, and then they turn out to be really cool. It's the best.
I think that's the best thing. I think you're allowed to name drop with how well you guys have done. I think it really shows like what northern bands can do. Like,
exactly.
One of like the statements showing that it is like northern bands have got balls.
No, yeah, exactly. So and we're very much, obviously we're all from Harrogate, so we always have the mindset of shit like this doesn't happen to people, you know, where we're from.
Yeah.
That's how we feel anyway. Being heavy music lovers from a really small town, I love Harrogate, and I'll never say anything bad about it, but it was very difficult trying to get into this game through that town.
Yeah.
Because there was just this, there was no venues to play at or anything like that. There was when we were growing up, but now there isn't, and it's a real shame. So I'm always really proud of, where we come from and stuff.
Did you find yourself having to branch out to like different cities closer to you, like with the bigger music?
Well, that's the thing. Like, when I was in a band and we were in Harrogate, we'd play in Harrogate, but we'd play just to all our friends.
Yeah.
And then we'd go and try and play in Leeds or in Manchester, and there'd be no one there. And we were like, because no one knows us, like, because we're from Harrogate and stuff like that. So
how did you build that?
So, the band, I was living in Barcelona at the time before this band started. It's so funny how things come around. I went to go see Barry Tomorrow play in Barcelona.
Oh, wow.
And I was done with music. This is in 2014. I was fucking done. I was just like, I'm not gonna be in a band anymore. Like I tried it since I was 14. I was in a band, and I had the mentality of if it was gonna happen, like it would have happened.
Yeah.
That's how I thought. And so I was living in Barcelona, and my friend was like, loved Bury Tomorrow, and he was like, do you want to come to the show? So I did. And when I was watching them, I was like, oh, I would love to have done this. Like, this would have been amazing.
Yeah.
A week later, Chris, our guitarist, rang me, and he said, do you want to start a band? And here we are.
Oh, wow.
On tour with Bury Tomorrow.
We had the kind of same conversation with Sean Smith when he said when he was done with the Black Coat, and he hadn't caught up with music or anything like that, and he went watching this band that was popular way back, and he didn't know they were still going, and he watched like a live set, and he was like, I want to be doing that because I could do it better.
I think that I think if anyone's been in a band, I think even if your band didn't do anything forever, you will have that thing inside you when you watch a band, and you'll go, I want to do that. I really want to.
It's the itch, isn't it?
Like, I wish I was doing that. And that was, so Blood Youth started in 2015, so the year later we started doing it.
We get that every time we watch a show as well, because we're in a band ourselves, but every time we go to see a show, we get the exact same feeling. It's
I still
you want to be up there.
Yeah.
I still do. If we have a month off of touring and I go see a band, I'm like, fuck, I want to be on stage.
I think it's just the itch, isn't it? Just to that you want to get involved, you want to have that atmosphere.
You just want to be a part of it. Yeah.
You want to jump around like a prat, if it's in my case.
Yeah, exactly. Same. Yeah.
So I know you've been playing a lot of your new stuff live as well, like instead of your older stuff.
Yeah.
How's that transition been from playing your older material to your newer stuff, and is it coming across better live?
It's been interesting, and I feel that we've dealt with it in a way of just like ripping off a band-aid, because we have been playing the old stuff since 2015. We've had some songs in the set since 2015, and people forget that we have to play these songs every single night. And not that, I love so many of our older songs. Yeah. But when you're playing it every single night for the past 4 years, it does take a toll on you, and you start thinking like, when are we going to change the set? When are we going to do this? When are we going to just mix it up a little bit? Yeah. So we went as hard as possible, and we said for this tour, let's just do all new songs. Let's all dress the same. Let's just put interludes in. We've never done that before. Let's just make it all one show. Yeah. And one feeling. You have to go through an experience from start to end. And some people, obviously, I've been on stage and heard people yell out like an old song. Yeah. Like, play this, or play that. And we're just like, just we've been playing it for 4 years. like let us just do something a little bit different. Yeah. And then when we play those old songs, it's going to be amazing when we come back and play. Oh yeah, totally. 2 years time, 3 years time. That's what we wanted. We just wanted a whole new set. Well, we're so excited on stage because these are all new songs that we've just played this year. Yeah. It's been really good, but you just have to do it. Like, we were easing into it. We're like, let's have one song that's older in there. Let's have 2 songs that's older. And they were like, nah, just do it all new.
Well, no, it has to be a statement about what you're about now. I think that's the thing with like trying to manage like old material with like new material. Because like with us at the minute, we're writing our new stuff. Sure. But like we've been playing like our last EP and the singles and stuff like that for like the past almost 2 years. Yeah. So then you've kind of got like, I really want to play something different now, but it's all part of it.
That's it.
Because in the end game, it's going to be more beneficial that you've then had that time with them songs, and then if you want to come back to it, it's there for you.
Exactly. And you can do shit like you can do a whole tour just playing your old songs. Like people do that all the time, like anniversary shows or this show or this show. It's 5 years or whatever. And I like the build up to like that sort of thing. Totally. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, speaking of anniversary shows as well, it's My Chemical Romance's comeback show tonight as well.
Oh yeah, it's tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, in LA, so
that's crazy. And I read that's been going on. They've been building up to that since 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
That's insane. Yeah. How do they keep that secret?
It's mental, isn't it?
Well, I saw that earlier on, and I was just like, what?
Like, I would have been drunk in a bar if I was in that
accidentally told them.
Yeah.
Like the first week of rehearsals, I've been like, we've been rehearsing.
Yeah. You've been just like, not to brag, but
yeah. No, that's really cool. Obviously, like, I think that band has been a part of everyone's sort of being a teen and getting into darker music and heavier music and stuff like that. So I get it. I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but I like Black Parade. I think it's awesome. What's the one before that called? 3 Cheers.
Yeah. For Sweet Revenge.
That's sick. That's got really good songs on it. I think it's awesome, and I think it's really cool just when bands disappear a little bit and then come back a few years later and it's just whoosh. Yeah,
it's like Creeper have only just
Creeper
come back
have just done that as well. Yeah,
they're just like poof, I'm back.
Yeah. It's awesome. I don't have the brain to be able to announce that we've broken up.
Yeah,
I'd be upset even if I knew we're getting back together a year later. I'd be gutted. I'd be like, I won't be able to deal with it. So I
won't be able to keep it quiet because they'd be like, I really want to
I couldn't do it. I just always want to release music, so I'd be itching. If someone said to me, "You're not going to release anything for another 2 years," I'd be like, "Fuck's sake."
It's one of those things now, though. I think like when a band says like they're quitting or breaking up, it's never really the end of it, is it?
No.
Like I always think, just looking at Angels and Airwaves sound, I always think Tom Dillon's eventually end up back in
100%
Blink-182 again.
Yeah, 100%.
In the near future.
Yeah, definitely. I think that happens. I'm just looking around now. I think everyone here at some point will make a comeback.
I think everyone. Funeral for a Friend's just there.
Exactly. Yeah, they've just played a show, haven't they? And then. Taking Back Sunday, been going forever, so
they're never gonna stop.
Yeah, that's all right with me.
Yeah, perfectly fine with that.
So, should we get to our segment?
Yeah, I think we should.
Because it's going to be a long one.
All right. So, what's your pet peeve?
And just on tour, or anything.
I think anything in general. The basic rules is like you pick a subject and we just roll with it.
What pisses you off the most?
When people are late, because I'm always on time.
Right.
Like Jimmy Hoffa. I'm always on time, or I'm always early. And when people are late, it's just so annoying. Like, that is my, that is a pet peeve. When, I was, our producer, who I live with, I have a place with him. I was messaging him, and I was like, "Where are you? We're on in half an hour."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, we're coming now. I'm like, message him again. I'm like, when I'm putting my phone away, I'm about to go on stage. He's like, we're 10 minutes away. I was like, we're on stage in 7 minutes. And then he came into our dressing room at the end. I was like, did you miss it? He's like, no, I got here just as you were walking up.
Oh my God.
So I was getting ready to tell him off. I was like, no, it's just me. It's something I got from my dad as well. So I hate being late. My dad is a businessman, and always through my childhood in meetings, I always remember him saying, he'd be annoyed if someone was late.
Yeah. See, I should have had that practicality because my dad was a copper.
Oh, right.
But I'm always fashionably late. I'm terrible. I'm probably the worst type of person for you.
Fair enough. No, the guys in the band, they do it as well. So I'll just be like, we'll just be at a venue. I'll be there like, whoa, come on. Let's go. Let's leave.
I'm either one extreme or the other. I'm either the first person there or the last person.
I also don't like to fuck around. I don't like to mess about. I don't like to hang anywhere for too long.
Yeah.
Because I get really I don't like if we've played a show and the show's been over for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we're all just sat in the dressing room.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we go? I'm like, what are we doing? Let's go to the next place.
Yeah.
That's just me. I feel like I'm the worst one in the band for that, just timing. I hate being late so much. It makes me grind my teeth.
Yeah. I think that's an important thing though, for when it's shows, events, it is crucial, everything kind of runs.
The first show of this tour, which was in Netherlands, we were stuck in traffic and we got to the venue 25 minutes before our stage time.
Yeah.
We pulled up at the venue and we were getting changed. As we were walking into the venue, didn't sound check. We walked straight on stage from outside and played the show. Didn't warm up or anything. I was losing.
That must have been scary.
I was losing it. I was like, this is such bullshit. But it was our own fault. We were just stuck in traffic. That was literally it. But yeah, that was the worst.
Takes me back to Trapped in Autumn.
Man. Our old bands, our drummer came separately, right? So we were there for sound check and we was there for everything else, but our drummer wasn't right.
Yeah.
And it got to our set time and our drummer still wasn't there.
Jesus.
And we got, not joking, we played 3 songs in the end because he was so late.
We've been on tour before. I won't name the band, but we've been on tour with a band before, and we were on after them, and they went over their stage time, and they were 15 minutes into our set.
Oh shit!
And I was like losing it at the side. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then when they finished, we had like 12 minutes left of our set. We played like 2 songs or something. I can't remember how much we played. I was so pissed off. Like, just the arrogance. Yeah.
Surprised you allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it got to a point where we were like yelling at the manager on stage, and we were like, showing the times and stuff like that, and then they just were signaled to stop, but I don't know what they were playing at. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Naming names. That's for the dressing room. Yeah.
Right, we'll go to our other segment,
Yeah.
which we'll probably be talking about this for quite a bit now. We slightly discussed it. So, what is your favourite scary movie?
Let me try and think. I'm not good with I don't know many sort of like indie scary movies.
Yeah.
Because I always want to be that guy. I always want to be like, well, you see this one, I watched it on tape record or whatever. I love the Evil Dead remake.
Yes.
I think that's absolutely incredible. What did I watch recently? And I was like, the fuck.
Well, do you know with the Evil Dead remake, I know they said recently that it could be possibly like a continuation from the original series. So cool. Some people hold it as a sequel or the remake. Because
I like films that make me feel a bit gross, and that film is disgusting.
Yeah,
like,
the first one, 100%.
Yeah, there's so much like stuff going into her mouth and throwing up and like
practical effects.
When that girl is like cutting her face, or is it a guy cutting her face with the glass in the shower and what did I watch recently? And that really fucked me up. Oh my god, we watched this. I'm sorry, this is a completely different tangent, but we watched that documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats.
Right?
Have you watched it?
No, was it
It's on Netflix.
Right.
It's called Don't Fuck with Cats, and it's a documentary about this serial killer. And we were watching it last night, and our jaws were like on the floor. We were like, it's insane. Like, I won't spoil it for you, but it starts off. It's a real fucking thing, and it's so sad when you're watching it. It makes you feel like sick. Like, it starts off with this group of people like on Facebook, just friends,
right?
And they get shown a video of a guy suffocating 2 kittens in his room, but with a you know those seal bags.
Yeah.
You suck out all the air. He puts the kittens in the bags, and he like suffocates them.
Oh my god!
That leads to loads of other stuff that he keeps putting online, and it's so fucked up. It's called Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix.
What the fuck?
You watch it tomorrow or something. It's nuts.
I'm big into like the serial killer documentaries. So
I'm going to get a text off you later. I'm going, mate.
It's 3 episodes. We watched them all last night, and we were all like, what the fuck? Like,
do you always find it funny where you end up looking at a massive tangent on Netflix? Like,
yeah.
What was the thing that we watched ages ago, which was like in Liverpool, and it was about them like fights, like competitions.
Oh, it was like bare knuckle fighting. Like,
right,
I don't know why. We just saw
seen
it.
some
It was
stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like bare knuckle fighting in Liverpool and places like that.
Yeah, and they have these like secret events where everyone comes and like cash on the door.
That's nuts. But yeah, with back to horror films, Evil Dead was sick. When we were in the studio, we watched the Insidious movies. We watched all the what's it called? I'm so bad with names. The movie with the Sinister.
Oh, that's fucked up, that movie, innit?
And we watched, what's the one where it's set in like, it's a true story, it's set in like the 70s, and the 2 people come from America. Conjuring 1 and 2.
That's an awesome movie.
Watch those. Those are just the movies we were watching. And then the movies that really messed with my head when I was a kid was Candyman. That one with all the bees and stuff.
Yeah, they're doing a remake of that.
Right, that messed me up when I was a kid. Yes.
Have you seen the Ash vs. Evil Dead series?
Yes, I've seen the first...
the first 2 series are on Netflix.
Yeah, I think I've seen the first one a long time ago, though. I really liked that, but with that Evil Dead remake, like I was saying with the album, made me feel so many things. I was just like, oh, God, but yeah. I definitely go for that one with my favourite.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I definitely recently rewatched it, and I was like, oh, this definitely got a soft spot. Definitely, because a lot of people prefer Evil Dead 2 to 1, and I definitely think it's the opposite way around because of how grim and sinister like that first film is.
Yeah.
And for the time it was made, it was definitely a B movie. Oh man, so good.
I'm just a big John Carpenter buff, like with the Halloween films.
Okay, I like the Halloween movies. They're cool.
But as a musician as well, he's like amazing because he does his own soundtracks as well for them all. So
I've just had a thought. The movie that fucked me up the most when I was a kid is Jeepers Creepers.
Oh my god!
Right.
Yes.
When I was in year 7, I watched that, and I could not sleep for like a month because I thought I would close like my curtains and stuff like that, and I'd be like, Jesus Christ, he's gonna come and get me. But there's that first opening scene where they're driving past in the car, and you just see him in the trench coat throwing bodies down a drain.
Oh yeah.
I was like, no, what's that? I was like, what's going on?
It goes into and there's bodies all over the roof. And
Yeah.
That film fucked me up.
I still had that same feeling when I watched The Exorcist in year 7.
Exorcist is a great one.
Oh man, I didn't sleep for such a long time.
Yeah, there's a great documentary on Netflix about that hype of when Exorcist came out, and people were like fainting in the cinema and dying in the cinema and stuff, and there was like a queue around the block because no one had ever seen anything like that before. It's on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it's all like a documentary about people just like there's people in the lobby just like, oh my god, like
I feel like you saw your Netflix like choices for like the next week.
Well, I've just been on tour, so just watching so much Netflix, so I've just been all the way through it.
So if you obviously finishing off the tour tomorrow,
tomorrow's the last show,
What's the plans after it then? Have a good Christmas and then
I'm gonna sleep for about a month, and then we'll be back on tour. 2020 is what we do, releasing new music and recording new music. So it's all being written at the moment, and I don't know how much I can say, but there will be the recording of a new album.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think this is coming out. This episode will come out late January. No.
Okay, so we'll be doing some stuff. We never ever we always want to put out new music, so we're always recording. So I guess that's not really a spoiler anyway. So,
but that's good though. At least then know that there's more things to come. And
always.
Awesome.
Always.
Otherwise than that, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
man.
thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
It's a privilege, and I hope you have a great Christmas.
You too.
And have a good sleep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was episode 23 of An Earful Podcast.
A massive thank you to Donny from the Noise Cartel for giving us the opportunity to speak to Kaya on this tour. In other news, our friends of the podcast, Cutting Teeth and Raiders, are on tour this month and next month as a part of Independent Venue Week. We will be at the Manchester date and we cannot wait. Make sure to check the full lineup of tour dates to go and check them out. In other news, Burn It Down Festival is September the 5th, as we said in the intro. Make sure, whilst the early bird tickets are still on sale, that you go and get them. It's definitely going to be a lineup not to be missed. We can't wait to be there later this year, so make sure you check it out.
And if you want any more information on any of those, just head over to our social media, which is at An Earful Podcast. And you can also catch us on YouTube. Go subscribe, rate, leave a review. The podcast is a labour of love, so we appreciate any love you give it. Other than that, thank you very much.
See you later.